Today we're going to take a look at the arcade shooter Crisis Brigade 2 on the standalone Quest 2 headset. I've been meaning to play this game for a while now, as I used to love pumping quarters into games like this at the arcade when I was younger. But before we get into the action, if you could just do me a solid and hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Let's roll. Crisis Brigade 2 is a cover-based VR shooter reminiscent of the old arcade days, back when machines actually took quarters. Think Time Crisis, but in VR with way better graphics. And here's the kicker, it's only $15. I really enjoy the graphic art style used here. The scenery is gritty, and the character art reminds me of comics. It's done well, and it really suits a fast-paced game like this. Now, I don't know why, but I had two assumptions about this game that were completely off base. First, I thought this game would be easy, which it is not at all. The difficulty is surprisingly brutal, even on the rookie setting. Not to say that the game is impossible, but it's challenging at the very least, which is sort of the entire idea of how this game should be played. Let me explain. So, Crisis Brigade 2 has 3 levels to play through. Only 3? Yes. But there are many scenes per level, a boss fight, several difficulties to play them on, and each level has options to choose which way to go in between scenes, so you can play through the levels multiple ways. You earn coins during your playtime, even if you die, which you can then spend on upgrades like assault rifles so you can suit up for your next try. And the whole idea here is replayability. Instead of having a bunch of boards you can rip right through and call it a day, there's a few levels that you'll surely fail at your first few tries, and you have to come back through with a better game plan. And honestly, I dig it. There's a ton of weapons to unlock. Also, you can get power-ups during play like bullet time, slow-mo, and on-the-fly weapons, and even backup, where an AI teammate comes to help, and they actually hit enemies when they fire, which is pretty refreshing, because I'm fairly used to bots having the accuracy of stormtroopers at this point when they're your teammates. Now, my second incorrect assumption about this game was that I thought I wouldn't be moving around much, since there's no joystick movement. Your character is sort of stationary with some sort of cover, but you can move around through real space, and you actually have to in order to survive. I found myself moving around way more than most other games. Not just popping up and down between fire and cover, but both sides as well. I worked up a hell of a sweat firing around the obstacle, keeping me safe, and moving your head around is the only way not to get decimated by the onslaught of incoming rounds. Welcome to leg day.
Legs.
Now, when it comes to immersion, it's decent for what this game is. You do move in between scenes with a slideshow cutscene, but the freedom to move around in real space once you are in the scene is really nice. Oh yeah, Crisis Brigade 2 also has multiplayer co-op. Yeah, just like Time Crisis 2 in the arcade or Army of Two on consoles, you can team up with a friend or rando to take on baddies together. This is also a nice option if you're having trouble beating a level. My only real criticism is that there is a bit of jank when using assault rifles two-handed. The grip could snap on a little better. My second-hand grab just doesn't seem to always take. Also, aiming while using two hands is not quite as smooth as using a pistol. It's fairly minor, but I found myself preferring to use one of the pistols as my main gun and taking assault rifles when the power-ups came in-game. The assault rifles are still great to use, I just didn't really want to be tied to one. Also, aiming around an obstacle without fully popping out my body is a hell of a lot easier with a pistol. Overall, for $15, I think they knocked this game out of the park. It's super fun, looks good, and has way more variety than I expected at that price tag. So that's a wrap for Crisis Brigade 2. If you had fun here, do me a solid and hit that like button. It's a free way to show your support for the channel and really helps me out. You can support the channel even more by leaving a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this absolute bargain of a Quest game. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more of these honest VR reviews. I'll always provide the best review I can without wasting a half an hour of your day. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, check out my 2022 review of Superhot, popping up on your screen right now.